Carousel is a general term for this amusement ride that spins around its center pole with horses or animals attached in either standing and jumping positions that circle that pole and create a musical, glistening, bright, and shiny attraction. So we have acquired a Spillman Engineering park carousel. It is probably the second to last park carousel manufactured by the Spillman Engineering Company. It was created at the end of the golden age of the carousel, which was from 1905 to 1925. So it is a rare piece. It had been in the DeAngelis family for its entire life. Dominic DeAngelis was an Italian immigrant. He came to this country at the age of 14 and lived with his aunt. And he worked in carnivals and just fell in love with the whole industry. So he set his American dream at running his own amusement, and that's exactly what he did. Dominic lost his land for his amusement park. So they dismantled the carousel, and from 1952 until 1988, it was in storage in their basement and under a porch, which for some animals, it was not a good place to store them. So that, in the long run, impacted some of the restoration process. From 1988 until 2016, when we purchased the carousel, it was in storage in Carousel Works in Ohio, in a better storage situation, waiting for a new place to set this up.
Our hope and dream with this carousel was to have a family-oriented activity on the canal side where the young and the older generation can enjoy this together. Many of the pieces, when they came to us, required a lot of restoration.
In order for us to be able to use this carousel and be safe for riders to use the carousel, they all had to be evaluated.
Some had detached legs, some had paint, some did not have paint. Some had some wood rot on them because of the condition in which they were kept over the years.
You know, it varied. Some needed little, some needed a more intensive surgery, so to speak, to bring them back to their original status.
We started out in our process with stripping the animal, meaning taking the paint off, layer by layer with a heat gun. You've got to be very careful with that so that it doesn't burn the product, but it will heat the paint enough to scrape it off. Rose Hirsch did our stripping of the animals, and she kept a lot of documentation, pictures of colors, pictures of possible pinstriping of what was on the original horse. After the stripping part, we would dissect horses that were together.
Each one was disassembled, and looking at them further, they maybe they were loose, or there was nails protruding, or pieces missing.
Then we went into assembling it and making it a complete animal after that, and evaluating it so that we can determine what part had to be recarved. It went to the carving by Patrick Stanzik, renowned carver from our local area, and he taught some volunteers how to do some carving, where they would take blocks of little wood and glue it to the original and start carving from there. Then we have to fill all the cracks and all of the seams with a form of epoxy. And then we do a lot of sanding. And then we fill them again. And we'd sand them again because we wanted a smooth surface. We wanted a surface that would have been back in 1924. And then we come back and put on 5 different coats of primer. After the priming, we start going into painting the horses.
This group was led by Rosa Patton. She's a nationally recognized carousel restoration artist.
She guided us in different strokes, different methods, and how we paint these animals, such as the dappling of a horse, how to shade it out, how to put certain markings on the horses. I had a lot of good listeners, and they did very well on the painting. And then we had a very active group of volunteers.
They've just done such a beautiful job, and the time and effort has been just a labor of love, actually. The BHC really wanted to install this carousel in a place where it could become a family and tourist attraction for the community and beyond. And as Canalside started emerging, it became such a perfect place for this carousel on many levels. One, historically, a carousel was always located either in the center of the amusement park or along a boardwalk or at the foot of a trolley line as a destination. And it is actually at the foot of our trolley line in Buffalo, New York. It is along the river, and it is in a beautiful setting where everyone can enjoy this piece. So it really was just the ideal spot to provide this new attraction.